Item number 14 is discussion and possible action on the official newspaper for the city. Peggy, I just want you to tell what happened with our ad. Tell, if you please, tell what happened. I just want all the council to know.
Well, I had sent an ad to the paper to announce a public hearing for the budget, and it didn't get in the paper, so that's why I had to take the budget off the agenda for this week's meeting. We'll have to do it on the 22nd.
That pushes us, correct? And was there any other public hearings, or was that the only one? No. Any comments on that? I'm just wondering. Make sure we
Mayor Nasby. My name is Rochelle Stedham, and good evening to the City Council members, Mayor, and community members. I'm the publisher of the Glen Reporter, and I know the error that you're speaking about, and I want to apologize to Peggy for putting you through that. I know exactly what you're speaking of, and I wanted to let you know before you make a decision on that, that your legals, or anybody's legals, is first priority, high priority. We've got a new procedure in place to make sure that this doesn't happen again. We want to apologize deeply for it, and we're only here to serve our community. So if you would take that into consideration, we'd appreciate it.
This discussion, this opens up a broader topic, I would assume. And I can discuss anything with Greg. One of my concerns,
well, let me make sure.
Yeah.
If it's not, you stop us. Okay.
It's open.
Okay.
I've been struggling with some of the issues with the paper anyway, but since it's on the board, I'd like to go ahead and discuss some of those topics. One, I had got some very disturbing news here weeks ago about during one of our festivals that maybe a representative of the Glen Reporter was passing out papers to local and visitors of the festival with some negative or promotional information to discourage visitors from coming to Glen. Now, if this is our city paper, why would that happen if that did happen? And I understand that it did, that the representative was downtown passing out papers discouraging locals and visitors to visit Glen.
A representative from the Glen Rose Reporter?
Yes.
Or, this is the first I've heard. And
I can tell you that that never happened. Someone went and picked up all the papers that were downtown. But news is news. And anywhere you go, any other city, it doesn't matter what the news is, it's not all good. We put good news in the paper, and we try our best with the city's legals. Each week, I personally read every one that's sent to me. Peggy and I communicate back and forth all the time. We correct any mistake, anything we see that's wrong. We correct it, send it back to Peggy, and make sure we get it right. This time was a simple mistake. It happened twice. We aren't making excuses. We're simply telling you we know it happened. We've made huge changes so that it won't happen again. But as far as this other situation, that did not happen.
There was no representative.
No. And if you can say who you think it was.
Well, I think it was Catherine Jones.
Well, I'll tell you why I did that.
Okay.
Because there was a cover story in that newspaper about the film festival. And the Chamber of Commerce asked me to bring down some copies of the paper with coverage of the film festival, which I might mention the other paper didn't bother to cover. That's why I brought it down, was because it had coverage of the film festival that was in town. My intention has never been and never will be to discourage people from coming here. I love this town. We do a lot to promote tourism here. That was the only reason I brought that down, was because of the request to bring it down so that people coming to the film festival could read about the film festival and see the schedule.
Can I ask you who requested that?
The
They're all
chamber
best.
requested that come down to bring the papers down.
Okay, because,
And as far as I know, they weren't promoting the other story in the paper as being a negative to Glenrose. It was about the film festival and the schedule, because that was the only one that the schedule was in.
okay, it was told to me differently by
Yeah.
a reliable source, so, but I'll go with that.
But I do have a comment too. When the city did get the A+ bond rating, and that is a very, very big thing. There was a tiny sentence mentioned in the article, whereas the other paper, it was the headlines, you know. So you can't always say, yes, good and bad things happen, and we know that, but you can't say you're publishing all the good things, because that was not published. And it was not published when we received the $250,000 grant earlier in the summer. That was not published, and you had that information. So there's a lot of negative things published, yes there are. But there's not a lot of good things. And the city has a lot of good things that are happening, but that is not given. You know, the A+ bond rating is tremendous. That should have been the headlines. And there is a tiny message written in the article. Whereas the other paper, who is not our official paper, that was their headlines.
Well, with respect, I didn't come here to discuss the news coverage.
Right.
I mean, if you really sit down with me and go over the news coverage that I'd be willing to do that.
And that's fine. I was just, you know, Linda had said they would report all the good things, and Catherine had mentioned that, but they're not.
We
And so I
try to
think that's-
balance very, very well, you know, and we only have so many pages to be able to print. And we try to balance with the news, what is given to us, and we stick to that. But, I mean, we do have, you know, most government entities go with the higher distribution of a newspaper. And I promise you, Mayor and council members, we do have that with the Glenrose Reporter. We've been here for many, many years, and we're going to continue to cover all the good things. There's going to be some indifferent. We're not always going to agree on everything, but we're here to serve as well. And that's what our mission is. So I hope you understand that, and I mean, if you have something on your mind that you really want to talk to the newspaper about, I'm available.
Okay.
But I have not heard of any complaints on the A+ bond rate, or, you know.
Right. And are you here in Glenrose all the time? or
No,
are you
ma'am,
in Stephenville?
I'm in Stephenville, but I come here periodically, but very well in tune, and I love your city.
I know you want to discuss news coverage, but also had somebody call me about our tax increase. We had no tax increase, and I looked all over the paper. I could not find that information printed anywhere. It was really disappointing. The other paper had it printed. Maybe somebody can tell me.
I'd be happy to furnish your copy.
Yeah, I think we did.
Okay, I didn't find it.
Okay, yes. Yeah, I work with the newspaper production site every Tuesday, so I'm very, very well aware of what's going on. But thank you for your time.
I appreciate your sports page and all the activity
Thank you.
of the school
Thank you.
supporting them.
They enjoy, the kids enjoy. I'll tell you, our sports editor, it's called Sweet Thing, because he puts in his press pass, he puts a sweet and low packet right there, and all the kids love him. I don't know if you know him, but great guy. Thank you.
Any other discussion?
Yeah, I'd like to continue a little bit. I'm going to go out on a limb here just because I'm dissatisfied with the way the reporter has handled things. I do believe they concentrate more on the negative aspects of Glenrose than the positive. I think that's one of the downfalls. It has a great sports edition and people like that, but there's been a great deal of controversy caused from a lot of the reports it's been getting, and we haven't seen a lot of positive. I'm really satisfied with the Rose. They've proven themselves in the past. One of the negative things is sports editions, but they're working on that. With that being said, I'd like to change papers. I'd like to motion for retiring the the reporter as official newspaper for the city and replacing it with the Rose.
Okay, I have a motion to change official newspapers from the Reporter to the Rose. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Have a motion and a second. All in favor? All opposed? Failed for 3 to 2.